Hey guys, good day. James from Coffee Latitudes here. Just a fresh cup of freshly roasted Coffee Latitudes coffee. Sorry for the delay, but as promised, I am getting back to you all with what this week's email, which I still haven't written out yet, is going to be about. This week's email, I had a customer ask me the other day about explaining acidity and sweetness in coffee, how I get sweetness, what beans are, why they're more acidic than others. I'm gonna try to keep this brief. The email can get lengthy. My conversation, I get lengthy depending on how much coffee I've had. Roasted twice this week. We had 2 markets last week, a car show on Sunday, online orders. I don't know if you subscribe to us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, so make sure down here you subscribe to us. We're up to 22 subscribers. We'd like to continue to grow that. It really means the world to us. So let's kind of get rolling into this thing here. So first, how do we get sweet taste rather than acidity? I've got my notes right here for me. So, well, first you select the green beans carefully. We'll just say like a Kenyan coffee, right? So Kenyan coffee tends to be a little bit more acidic with citrus notes, and while Burundi can develop to be sweet. Yirgacheffe has a tea-like flavor to it, so try starting off with the Burundi versus the 3 of those. We use a Burundi in a number of our blends as well. I'll just give you a hint. It's in our Chappie blend. That's a great seller. Yep. So Central and South American coffees, Colombian, for example, can develop sweetness in the roast. A bit different than the Burundi kind of sweetness. So origin does matter. Microclimates matter. Perhaps even elevation. I mean, obviously elevation is going to matter. Weather conditions. So there's a lot of things that go into affecting the coffee. The density of the beans. Dense beans, excuse me, have a capacity to develop sweetness through caramelization in the roast. I won't get too nerdy and geeky with this, but it's kind of cool stuff. It's like you look at your cup of coffee and go like, geez, why does this taste better than anything else I have? Last week we got some amazing customers come up to us and just say, the one gentleman, my son travels the entire country and he says yours is the second best coffee he's ever had in his life. I'm like, it makes me wonder what the first is, but I'm totally ecstatic to be considered anywhere in the top 100. So it does matter. This is truly a passion project for Olga and myself. So I went in about dense beans, the caramelization in the roast. Coffee grown elevations of 1,800 meters above sea level can develop more density due to the slowness of the growing season in cool and humid climates. Soil conditions have an impact, of course. And let's not forget the processing method. Natural dry fermentation, where the cherries are left, excuse me, got a tickle today, are left to dry and ferment on the beds immediately after picking can produce very sweet coffee. In my experience, because they are often unevenly fermented, it can be a little tricky to roast those coffees. One of those coffees being like our Nicholas and Angela from Nicaragua. That's a honey process. If you haven't tried that, the lighter the roast, the sweetness in the honey, you'll get those taste qualities in that. So again, wet processing. So people say, oh, what's the different processing? Wet processing tends to produce a cleaner, more balanced flavor and a little bit less sweet than the other methods. But whatever the bean origin, elevation, terroir, variety, what will have the biggest impact on flavor is how you roast the bean, plain and simple. And that's yours truly. So depending on how you roast the bean and what you want to develop, it's slowly or or not. I'm reading my notes. I can't even read my own handwriting. It's terrible. The Maillard reaction phase, but the critical part of the roast when sugars start to develop is going to be the development phase before and during the first crack. I had a few emails ago explaining temperature at first crack and second crack. There is no third crack. Medium roast is the crack in the time in between first and second crack. So maybe, I don't know if you can go back to those emails. Maybe I'll send it back out to everyone so they can catch back up on that. Let's see. So caramelization develops from the sugar. So, I mean, the bean being a fruit, right? I mean, just think about it. The caramelization, as the heat processes it, more caramelization, more flavors will come out. So caramelization is also take it further and will develop more bitter flavors. And finally, if you take it too far, you'll get burnt carbon, and that you don't want. People say, oh, you probably don't want that. No, you definitely don't want that smoky, burnt caramelization of carbon, charcoal. No, bad. So, all right, so where am I? So here we are. The flavor that you can, the flavor of your roast can change, of course, in 3 seconds. One of our biggest mistakes and best-selling coffees today is Honduras After Dark. I took it just a little bit too farther. I got distracted and I was shooting for a hundo in the morning, and I came back and went from a light roast to a dark roast in a blink of an eye. And well, some things can happen that are very positive. So Honduras After Dark is our best-selling dark roast coffee currently. That will be changing. Right now we're using the Bernardina Sanchez from Lempira, Honduras, La Cuesta, and we're bringing back the 18 Rabbits again, back in season. So here's like my list of coffees from women farmers all over the world. That's what today's task is for me, finding that out. So I hope I was a little clear on the sweet taste. So terroir, variety, Pacamara, processing, that's the sweetness in the coffee. So here, the packaging. We package all our coffee within 24 hours. We're always cupping coffee. But one thing we're not afraid to do is break the rules. So trial and error, that's how you learn. And sometimes you're surprised with like Honduras After Dark. So then what is acidity in coffee, right? So let's start with the basics. You can describe it as the amount of acids you'll find in coffee, or the actual level of acidity or perceived acidity, which is more in the mouth feel. All right, so like a lemon and that tart, your palate, your tongue starts to bleed more saliva with acidic foods or acidic things. So even wine, people are unfamiliar how to understand acidity. Acidity is not a bad thing in coffee. A lot of people think that it hurts my stomach. It's not the coffee. Stop buying cheap coffee. Stop the Folgers and the Maxwell House and anything commercial that's garbage, chemically, maybe I shouldn't be saying that stuff, but it's been proven. There's out there on social media, the 8 worst coffees for you to drink and consume. So it's something I'm just kind of repeating what I read. End of that. Yeah. So, acidity gives coffee a bright, vivid, elegant acidity. Baristas want acidity. Often organic, fruity tells me that it's a little bit more acidic. Flavors give life to your cup of coffee. If we kill those, we kind of kill the coffee. So we do have a number of people that love light roast coffees. So now you find the coffees that are high in acidity and high in sweetness. That's really tricky. That is a fun thing to accomplish. Woohoo! Sorry, my notes are getting blown around. I have a fan on. There are different types of organic acidities. But some of these ones are responsible. Acidities are citric, malic, phosphoric, taric. They also create slightly different coffee profiles. For example, citric acidity creates a citric taste, right? I mean, of course. While malic might be more apple-like. Some of them might become overwhelming in too high quantity, so balance is important. As the roasting processes, these acidities will decrease in quantity, and it means that by controlling your roast, you can accentuate the flavors you want and reduce those that you don't. However, before you begin creating acidity, enhancing roast profile, you will need to understand the raw material, and not all green beans have the same quality and organic acids. Gosh, that's a lot. If you have any other questions, or you're curious about coffee, or want me to do another video, maybe the next one I'll do is on dark roasts and those dark chocolate notes. We sell a lot of dark roasts. And there are a lot of roasters out there that buy our coffee. And there's a thing called third wave roasting. Third wave roasting is kind of right either at first crack or right before first crack. It's kind of like the new trend in coffees. I'm not a big fan of it. I tend to like espresso and dark roast coffees. It's really not what I like. It's what you, the customer, likes, right? In essence, I kind of feel also that a lot of the light roast coffees tend to get underdeveloped. So it doesn't mean that it's better or worse. It's just what you, the customer, likes. So yeah, I hope you appreciate this. I will be sending out this in email, so hopefully it'll be a lot more clear for you to understand. I'm gonna just go back over. Don't forget to subscribe. CoffeeLatitudes.com on YouTube. If you aren't aware, we are Nuvo Sumanelli authorized distributors. So that cool, really espresso equipment, I'm gonna be getting that very soon. A couple of people asked me about like coffee being organic. Well, these are, I don't do a great job on all my bags. I'd rather have the coffee speak for itself, but these are the certified, the certificates, right, that we get for organic coffee. So sometimes I bring the binder that has all my certificates in it. Most of the time I don't. But we appreciate everybody enjoying our coffee, and have a blessed day. February's right around the corner. Olga and I will be traveling to a couple of coffee countries next month. We are super stoked about that. New beans came in, Vietnam. After cupping it a couple of times, I've been playing with the grind on it. I find it to be a little more bitter than I like, so I've been toying with it in my espresso roast. So if you want a little bit more bite in that espresso, you may want to give that a shot. The Ecuador, I thought was off the hook. The organic Nicaragua from Jose Alfredo. Another one, I took it a little bit past, like we're gonna call it a light plus, a medium minus. And all those three coffees, they are selling fast. I think maybe I have a couple more roasts and they're gone. Yemen is out of stock. Mocha Java's out of stock. Apologize for that, but on the other hand, people are enjoying some really great coffee out there. So it's springtime, and from October through March, you get a lot of the harvest coming in. So in the next couple of months, we're going to be getting some really super phenomenal coffees, especially after our travels. If anyone is interested in pure 100% geisha coffee, whether it be Colombian or Guatemala, I have a source, but we're talking about coffees in excess of $50 to $60 a pound roasted. So I know it's a little scary, but people do like to try these coffees. So again, thank you everyone. Appreciate. Don't forget, right down here, subscribe to CoffeeLatitudes.com. on YouTube, and like us on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll get this email coming out hopefully this afternoon. Y'all have an awesome day. Bye.